Hello everybody, Chris and Barry here, and we're back at the Grand Floridian. It's a bit stuffy in here, but Citricos is reopened.
Bless my soul, Citricos is open.
So we're going to go back, review it, and see what it's like now it's reopened and rethemed to what, Mary Poppins?
Mary Poppins?
Yes. You don't know that?
I didn't know anything about that.
I told you about that.
Oh, surprise!
Okay,
I guess.
well then, surprise the princess. Well, we're going to go in and pop around.
Be sure to Citricos?
You heard the girl.
I don't know what's happening now. I'm confused that we're Mediterranean and now it's Greek.
So we have a beautifully displayed table bread. One thing they haven't skipped on when this reopened is putting their logo everywhere. I'm mad at it. You're going to be at a fancy restaurant, sell it. And then we have this butter with a little bit of like natural sea salt on here. Everything in this restaurant is basically themed to local Florida. So I guess the Grand Floridian is just going all in on the newest official alligator Loki state. This is their olive bread. I love this. The princess is gonna hate this. Honestly, didn't need the butter at all. There's so much flavor packed into it. I'm gonna just snack on that all night. 4 out of 5 loss. It's good table bread.
Of course, of all of the breads in the entire basket, the one that's vegan has to be olive bread. I'm pretty sure we've had olive bread before. I think it was here, if I remember correctly. It tastes kind of like a rye bread. It's not horrible. It's not super olivey. It's a little sweet. Still not my jam. I give it like 2 out of 5 olives. Agridolce. It has St. Germain vodka and ginger beer. Oh, it's very tart and delicious. I like it quite a bit. I would give this 4 out of 5 St. Germains.
Here we have the Agridolce with like the high life of garnishes. Your like garnish with a pearl, just an extra bit of fancy. But again, I feel like I've been tricked into yet another mule. Ginger beer and all the things to the princess every single time. Ooh, that's a very floral kick on top of the ginger beer. It's smooth and refreshing though. It feels more like a cooler than a cocktail almost, but with a kick at the end. 3.5 out of 5 plus.
The 1806 Old Fashioned that is from Whistle Pig, so I tried to get out of it because of the name, but Bear like made sure he looked up everything and told me it was vegan, so now I have to drink it. Oh. That's strong. Oh, that'll put some hair on your chest. That is not my jam. That is a slow sipper, but definitely Bear's type of drink. I would give that 3 out of 5 whiskeys. If you like old fashions, this is a drink for you. It's like up there with Topolino or something.
We continue this journey of the old fashioned, this 1806 old fashioned. This looks less like an old fashioned and more like a bathtub of problems. You shoot the square ice cube, a little garnish. This is probably going to be my only drink for the night because it smells like pure liquor. Oh, that's good. It's very smooth. The bitters are there, but it's not something that's too harsh in the throat. goes down smooth, but this is definitely, as with most old fashions, a sip and not a gulp. 3.5 out of 5 claws. It's not as good as the Rune Pig old fashioned that I had recently, or the old fashioned I had at Topolino's, but it's still up there.
This is a wild mushroom arancini with a truffle aioli here. And then we have some watercress. Sorry, this is a truffle aioli, watercress, and then some champagne vinaigrette. So I'm gonna cut one of these open here. Let's see what it looks like on the innards. It looks like a rice ball, basically. And I'm gonna have it with the champagne vinaigrette and the truffle and the watercress all together. Wow. It's very tasty. The truffle's a nice flavor, but it's not overpowering. The champagne vinaigrette actually balances it very nicely. This is a really incredibly amazing dish that I did not think I would really like. I would give this 4 out of 5 truffles. This is good.
Look at this decadent appetizer from Princess, all beautifully displayed here with what basically looks like a rice hush puppy and some sauces, along with a little bit of truffle. Go ahead and get a little bit of everything in here. We will skip nothing. Ooh. It's got a wonderful texture. The crust on the outside. It's just like a case on a treat with the truffle and everything. Everything is in balance. Nothing's overpowering, and it's definitely has me excited for whatever's next. It's not bad. 4 out of 5 plus. We got a sweet corn bisque. And there's popcorn in it. I should probably read before ordering some of these things. Either way, let's see where this adventure takes us. Nice consistency. Down that. It's a good bisque. Get a nice creaminess to it. You definitely taste the sweet corn. The popcorn is a bit odd of a texture to have in a soup, but it's just more corn. It works. 3 out of 5 plus. Here we have a plantain croquette with a nice, beautiful chunk of pork belly here. You can see all double cooked and beautiful looking. On top of this like beautifully plated sauce in the bottom. I would say that even without the rating, Citricos has definitely stepped its game up as far as being fancy. It now feels like a restaurant that deserves to be sitting next to Victoria and Albert's. Yeah, you don't even need the knife. It's useless. The croquette and the pork belly is like Cinderella meets Prince Charming. It's a good match. 4.5 out of 5 plus.
We have a passion fruit margarita. Oh yeah, it's got a nice blend to it. The taquito's really light. The passion fruit's really strong. I love the boba balls and everything. This is a winning drink. I would give this 4.5 out of 5 passion fruits. It's a dessert.
This is definitely an interesting looking margarita. And I feel like, Disney, you and these bubble balls, you must get some sort of bulk deal. Because I'm seeing these things everywhere. And again with a little pearl garnish. Fancy. Very fancy. Oh yes, that's the way. Take a bit of the candied passion fruit with the actual drink. This definitely feels like a dessert drink and not an actual cocktail. It's way too sweet. Not in a bad way. It's just a super sweet drink. You can taste literally no tequila. But 3.5 out of 5 plus.
Seconds want to be sober.
This is a Manhattan with bourbon and chocolate bitters.
I'm doing something I thought.
Very strong, slow sipper. 2 out of 5 Manhattans.
So that's got you.
Manhattan. The blackberries. And I give them the pearl garnish. This is it's a fancy drink. Fancy-ish.
Okay, let me get a
You can really taste the chocolate bitters. Very sour. I've never really been on board with Manhattans. I can see the appeal. It's just not something that I could drink every day or even once a month. It's not bad. 2.5 out of 5 bucks.
We have a house-made rigatoni with bolognese, seasonal vegetables, roasted hen of the woods mushrooms, and a plant-based egg yolk. This is a very interesting looking pasta. I guess I'm gonna like destroy the yolk because I think that's what you're supposed to do. I'm curious to see, oh look, it bleeds like an egg. How did they do that? I'm just gonna mix it all together. This is a very interesting looking bolognese. I don't think I've ever seen a bolognese like this before in my life. It tastes like, or it smells like liquid smoke. That is very tasty. Probably one of the best bologneses I've had on property, without a doubt. This is a really good pasta dish. Like, I don't really taste the egg, but that's okay. Like, this is amazing. These are 5 out of 5 pastas. I would come here for this pasta. It tastes fresh. They definitely made this in-house.
So this is what an on-menu plant-based pasta is supposed to look like. Thought and care. Displayed well, some unique bits. Plated to be appetized, not just something you threw together like some other places with Chef Boyardee cans I've mentioned in the past. The egg part is interesting. I like that they went through the trouble of making a plant-based egg yolk. I do feel like there's maybe a few of you plant-based people that may take some issue with the mechanics of putting something that looks like an egg fetus on your food. It's actually plant-based, but I can understand if that would upset you. As for how it tastes, the mixture of that plant-based egg and the mushroom go a long way to make it give that sort of like savory, protein-heavy like bolognese sauce with like the perfectly seasoned pasta. This is a dish you won't forget. This is something that you can brag to your friends about, which is what plant-based food should be. This is definitely above average. I could order this myself and be perfectly happy. That 4.5 out of 5 points. Like a little bit more sauce and it might have been a perfect 5 for me.
You have some beautiful roasted cauliflower in the world's smallest side with some creme fraiche. That is smoky, tangy, delicious, very flavorful. Burst of flavor and spice in your mouth. I would give this a 4 out of 5 cauliflowers. This is really good. Really good. Big win at Citricos. New menu's amazing.
We have this perfectly plated piece of like a roasted cauliflower enhancement. It looks like a fairy pool from like the Legend of Zelda almost. Like mixture of greens and sauce here in the bottom. A little bit of everything in here. Those flavors are amazing. I never tasted cauliflower that held in like that much liquid smoke and seasoning without sort of falling apart, especially when they're already sitting in a sauce. I think if they offered a bigger portion of this, for people that had any sort of like ethical issue with the bolognese, this would be something for the plant-based people to definitely get. This is a 5 out of 5 flaws. That's my bare necessities list. So what we have here is what they call the golden tile fish, sitting on top of a bed of chorizo risotto in tomato water. Never understood tomato water. You literally put my food in a pool. But it's a fish, so I suppose it works thematically. It's well seasoned, flaky. You don't need a knife. There's little chorizo bed in here. There's little pieces of chorizo, almost like bacon bits in there. And these little tomatoes. Fork it. There we go. It's a very interesting flavor. Even though the pieces of chorizo are very small, you can still really taste them in the risotto. The fish is flaky. It's soaked in all the seasonings for sure. It's a nice dish. The tomato water, I don't really feel adds a whole lot. But it's there. It just looks like a pool of liquid to me. It's an okay fish. I don't know if I'd order this again, but I don't regret ordering it. 3.5 out of 5 plus. Here we have their barbecued short rib on a bed of cheesy grits, and then you have coleslaw on top. It's an interesting thing. It definitely feels like Florida to me. Only Florida can come up with something like this. Because literally, you'll put cheesy grits on anything. Let's see if this guava barbecue, which is an interesting barbecue to begin with, holds up. The guava adds an interesting sweetness to the barbecue sauce without being overpowering, so you can still really taste the short rib underneath. It doesn't feel overly sauce. The cheesy grits pair well, and then the coleslaw adds a little tang to it. It's not bad. It's like if dueling banjos was a food. 4 out of 5 plus.
This is frozen coconut milk.
Oh.
Okay.
All right. We have a Honey Crisp apple with some coconut iced cream. It's hard to take a little sliver of this, my goodness. Cheers. It definitely tastes plant-based. But it's appley. It's got a very different taste to it. It's really not what you expect flavor-wise. It does remind me of a dessert that I had at Artist Point Storybook Dining. It's very delicious. I would give it 3.5 out of 5 apples. If you like apples, you're gonna like this.
Well, it was a very pretty dessert before the princess butchered it. Typical princess with bear tendencies fashion. But I like how it was arranged in a rows. Got all this like raspberry like flavoring all around in this frozen coconut milk. Which I guess technically make it coconut ice cream. But I'm not a chef, what do I know? There's no mistaking that it's plant-based. And oddly enough to me, it tastes like you expected cherry Pop-Tarts to taste as a kid. Raspberry Pop-Tarts. Without the icing. Don't know how I got there for that. But it's a nice contrast between the warm and the cold. And the flavors there. If you like desserts that are sweet, without feeling they're going to give you diabetes, not bad. 3 out of 5 plus. Citricos. I'm impressed.
It was amazing.
I think that the retheming of this restaurant well fits Grand Floridian, and that it actually feels to me like signature dining now.
That bolognese was probably one of the most creative bolognese pastas I've ever had, especially now that I know that the egg on top was made out of a tomato.
Right.
That pasta was fresh. Like everything was impeccable. I loved every piece of my meal, even though it was a little overpriced. But it does share like the area with Victoria and Albert, so it makes sense.
I expect to pay top dollar for a restaurant like this. You
It's
come
fine
here,
dining.
get Larry. He will treat you well. That man
Larry
will
was
fight
amazing.
for your food. But this was an interesting experience. It's nice to see the Citricos coming back. I'd like to see some other restaurants sort of bring their level up a little bit.
Agreed.
But we want to know, after what you've seen, what do you think? Would you come visit Citricos? Did you think the dishes looked interesting and creative? Let us know in the comments. If there's any other place you'd like us to go, any other signature dining you'd like us to do, the Princess would love you forever. That's going to be the place to let us know. Hit the notification bell if you want to see other videos like this, and
We have new videos 5 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday.
we will see you soon.
Be sure to subscribe
You heard the girl.
and like this video for the Citricos.